Do you recognize these patterns? The strange patterns that you see appear mysteriously overnight in farmers' fields. These are called crop circles, and they're mostly found in the United Kingdom but have spread to dozens of countries around the world in past decades. But who created them? When the early crop circles were discovered, farmers suggested that it was Satan himself who was seen in the pattern of the crop circles. In 1966, a farmer in Australia said he saw a flying saucer rise up from a swampy area and fly away. Others, such as the molecular biologist Horace Drew, suggest that the answer lies in time travel or alien life. He theorizes that the patterns could be made by human time travelers from the distant future to help them navigate our planet. Although obscure natural causes or alien origins of crop circles are suggested in some theories, there is no physical or scientific evidence for such explanations. Does decoding these crops mean we have information on alien beings? Are they trying to tell us something? Is there really any meaning at all to these crop circles? Let's take another example. The Rorschach test is a psychological test in which subjects' perceptions of ink blots are recorded and then analyzed using psychological interpretation. These sheets are created by dropping 5 to 10 ink blots on a sheet of paper and then folding it to get a unique pattern. The patterns are not created with an intent as to what it must look like. But we as humans find patterns that are familiar to us. We catch details, we look at the negative spaces in between, and finally form a shape inside our heads to derive meaning from it. But ink blot in itself is actually meaningless. And depending on what type of meaning you see in it, specialists can analyze and psychologically interpret your personality. Many of the things we see around us are bordering on meaning. The objects or subjects inherently don't possess any meaning until as humans form something of it. That's also how we make connections in our head. It's almost like the more reasonable connections you can make between two bizarre things, the more creative you are. Also, notice how I say making connections and not identifying connections. Connections, like meaning, are mostly made by our brains than identified. If we consider human beings, we're all about creating meaning out of natural things. It's a character of life to create this meaning. If we go back to the example of crop circles, you're almost tempted to make a meaning out of it. But it's just a natural phenomenon. We as humans exist on this border of meaning and absurdity. We constantly want to make sense of things. Let's take another example. For about 90 minutes to 2 hours each night, every single person on this earth dreams. Say you have a dream about climbing a really big mountain. Does that mean it symbolizes that you're working hard and you're overcoming obstacles? Does that mean you're rising above petty and everyday quarrels and reaching something bigger? Or is it just the mountain you saw in the documentary last night? People have associated each type of dream you get to something in your life. For example, falling in your dream means you're stressed and anxious in life. Having water bodies appear in your dream signifies how effectively you're managing your emotion. Or being chased in your dreams means you're afraid of something. In fact, my teacher once told me that flying in your dream implies that you are craving stability. Whereas in my dream, I was taking off in a rocket from NASA to go to the moon. It was very exciting. One prominent neurobiological theory of dreaming is the activation synthesis hypothesis, which states that dreams don't actually mean anything. They are merely electrical brain impulses that pull random thoughts and imagery from our memories. You might have seen something yesterday that your subconscious brain has picked up and stored in your memory. Your brain just takes it and builds a story around it in your dream. We have this innate desire to organize randomness and try to make sense of it, even though some things are just random and they exist. Somehow we feel extremely uncomfortable if there is no story with objects. We build stories around everything around us. Sometimes we don't care if it's true or not. We constantly exist on this border between meaning and absurdity. My last point would be the most common example that we see. The theory of evolution states that we are created through random changes. But we want to have meaning in that. We can't have randomness. That's how we are. So we have created a creator, someone who designed us.